Thanks, thanks, Jean-Claude, and thank you to the organizers for giving us an opportunity to be here. I'd like to introduce some ideas and opportunities to all of you in thinking about an Arctic Observing Network, and there's been a lot of reference to stakeholders and getting the stakeholders involved, and so we would particularly like to focus here for a few minutes on the on the role of industry, business and industry, in being a part of providing solutions, providing data, sharing data, and certainly helping drive innovation and technology development for both collecting that data and the products and services that, as was mentioned by several speakers, need to be coming out of that to really create the value to stakeholders and society. This is all being driven on our side, and I'll explain the World Ocean Council in a few minutes, by this growing use of the ocean. Just a few rough maps to give you a sense of what we try to convey to these different industries in terms of what all is going out. They have their world ocean view, and the need to start overlapping these world ocean views with consideration of what's going on between industries and between this collective growing use and other values and interests on the oceans. And of course, the Arctic increasingly, as you all know very, very well, is becoming a focus of this growing multiple use as well, from the kinds of sectors that are listed there and perhaps more and different kinds in the future. And this is driving a lot of the need for a better understanding of Arctic systems and processes. So to give you a sense of what I represent and this community that's developing and growing, the World Ocean Council is an industry leadership alliance. And what's unique about it, it's global, it's multi-sectoral. So we're bringing together the kinds of sectors that depend on ocean space and resources for their economic existence, and society depends on them to provide goods and services to us. Shipping, fisheries, oil and gas, aquaculture, offshore renewables, and many others. And around all of those industries, there are entire business ecosystems of the support industries that make them all possible. And so when you put this together on a global scale, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of companies, millions and millions of jobs, and certainly the economic value is growing in terms of the ocean economic activity and its importance to governments, for taxes, for jobs, etc. We're bringing this group of companies together, the leadership companies in these different sectors, to work on a shared goal, as you can see here, a healthy and productive ocean and its sustainable use and development. And for shorthand, we're calling this corporate ocean responsibility as a way to get these companies thinking about their collective needs and opportunities for achieving and working towards this goal. But importantly and critically, there are business drivers to this. This isn't a nice-to-do, feel-good sort of thing. This is a need-to-do role for these companies to play. They realize that they cannot solve these ocean issues on their own. There's business value in collaboration. There's synergies. There's economies of scale in working on the issues that I'll be illustrating. And there's a fundamental risk issue here. Companies recognize that they need the continued social and political license to do what they do and what we as society want them to do. We want cheap transport of goods. We want energy. We want protein from fisheries, etc. To do that, they need the social license, the political license, and this is particularly important in the Arctic setting. And so working together on a responsible use and planning for increased use is critical to these companies. Oops. So we have a growing group of 70-plus companies from some of the biggest in the world, several of the oil majors, Maersk, and other a growing number of shipping companies, Rio Tinto, Teck, and other mining companies. Some of the biggest, for example, one of the biggest, or the biggest fishing company operating out of Greenland, and a whole lot of, though, medium and small enterprises as well, many of these being in the science and technology field, in instrumentation development, sensor development, marine acoustics, and a whole range of other areas, and an increasing number of affiliate organizations from the science and research institutions that work a lot with industry who are seeing the value of working together in this collective manner. So to give you a sense of what this growing group of industries is working on, here's a list of the priority areas, the programmatic areas that have emerged in our strategic sort of long-term planning that we're starting to form working groups around these various issues. I won't go into these in detail except number 4 and 5 there that are particularly relevant, of course, to what we're all doing here. So what we are doing in this area of regional efforts and ocean observations and data collecting and sharing, let me illustrate that a little bit. So as this program, this organization has developed over the last 3 or 4 years, and still a very young organization, part of the interest has been then to focus in these efforts on a regional level and bring together these various industries to create this focus of cross-sectoral effort and stewardship on a smaller than global scale, to work on the sorts of things that you see listed there in the sorts of regions listed at the top. The priority amongst those, the top priority has been in the Arctic, and so we have moved forward over the last couple of years to explore what it would take to get a group of leadership companies together in the context of future use and planning for the Arctic. And last year, that was culminated in an initial significant step of having a first Arctic Business Leadership Council workshop in Reykjavik in September last year. And as we worked up to that, we've been engaging quite a bit with the Arctic Council leadership, the Swedish government, the ambassador for the Arctic, Gustav Lind, and also the Sustainable Development Working Group that they also have been chairing. That, of course, is all now transitioning over to Canada this month or next month, and we're looking forward to continuing that engagement. So we had this initial meeting of a business leadership group. We thought it was an informal sort of startup on this. We ended up having more than twice as many companies participate, more than we had expected, which is, I think, is a sign of the latent interest from amongst the companies that have serious activities or interests in the Arctic in wanting to be a part of designing a collaborative and implementing a collaborative, sustainable, and responsible working context for their what they do and hope to do in the Arctic. We also had then the first, as a part of that, following on the first ever business dialogue, creating an interface in between this business leadership group and the Arctic Council through the interface of the Sustainable Development Working Group as a beginnings to bring that business community into a regular dialogue process with the Arctic Council system. The other thing I wanted to highlight here then is where the business community, the ocean business community, is going in terms of observations, data collection, and sharing. So we've launched, after developing over several years this opportunity and exploring it with a range of companies, created a core group from amongst our members to create this program we call Smart Oceans, Smart Industries. And as per the text up here, it's really, the short story is we want to accelerate and expand the number of vessels and platforms and other industry infrastructure that's providing data and driving the need and interest in data and sharing data. And obviously that gets into a lot more detail in terms of what kind of data and where and how it's collected, with whom it's shared, the interoperability, and a whole range of issues involved in scaling up. And we certainly recognize as a basis for this, there's a lot going on already through government, intergovernmental programs, and a variety of industry efforts that are already taking place. And this is seeking to build on those and as I say, accelerate and expand those efforts. And certainly the parts of the globe that are least well known, and as we're all familiar with and heard again this morning, where change is happening, where the need for information, for data is greatest for modeling and forecasting purposes, such as the Arctic. This is particular interest from of the companies that are involved in the Smart Ocean, Smart Industries program, and we're really looking to focus on the Arctic situation as a priority area for getting more industry and more coordinated industry involvement in data collecting and sharing and building on what's going on with the goal of really, as you see, contributing to the status and understanding the status and trends, improving the modeling and forecasting, et cetera. And overall for this Smart Ocean, Smart Industries program, there's a very clear business driver on this. Companies see the value, the companies getting involved, they see the value in this. Better data equals better modeling, better forecasting, better safety at sea, better environmental management programs. So there's really a virtuous cycle we're working to accelerate and accentuate here. And the opportunities are enormous. This is on a global scale, but 50 to 80,000 merchant vessels out there in the ocean at any one time. Many other kinds of vessels. We've had a particular interest from the high seas fishing fleets, from some of the tourism, and certainly for the Arctic, this would be an important piece of it, getting involved in data collection and sharing. Opportunities from fixed infrastructure in the marine environment, and certainly a lot of data collection is already going on amongst many of these industries, particularly oil and gas. And there are increasing interests and efforts to share that data. As you probably are aware, there's an agreement between with ConocoPhillips, Statoil, and Shell to share data from the Arctic, in particular with NOAA. So we want to build on that kind of interest and existing situation. So what we hope to achieve with this Smart Ocean, Smart Industries program is this sort of comprehensive approach to industry involvement in data collection and sharing that's cross-sectoral, and it's not just about ocean data, but weather and climate data, and certainly, again, building on those existing systems and infrastructure in governments, in the academic community, in the intergovernmental system, being able to scale this up within and across industries, upgrade over time, both looking at retrofitting existing vessels and platforms, but also incorporating science and observation needs into new builds. We've just had our first major shipbuilding company join the World Ocean Council, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries from Japan, and one of their interests is in having this kind of discussion and relationship. The International Chamber of Shipping is one of our key members. People really want to work on this stuff and achieve these synergies and economies of scale of collaboration on this. We had a major workshop in late 2011 hosted by IOC, which is a huge supporter of this development along with JCOM and WMO, so really working with those major intergovernmental coordinating processes. We got the kinds of people and sectors together. There's a particular interest from the marine science and technology world to get involved in this. Essentially, if we can scale up the number of vessels and platforms involved in data collection, it's really creating a market for sensors, for instrumentation, for data transmission and data management. And so that, of course, attracts innovation and creates business opportunities. And certainly Canada, Europe, a few other parts of the world are very interested in that linkage between marine and ocean observations, and more generally observations, technology development, and business development. So the next steps on this that I'll finish with here, we have a joint industry and science committee being developed that brings together the science and observations community with our working group from the industry side to start really getting into this detailed effort to map out the specific sets of activities. A real key part of this, really getting going with this, is getting this value proposition developed for both the, that's my little timer saying 15 minutes is up. And I'm on my last slide, so good timing. Developing these sorts of, developing the value proposition so that we can help convince these companies to get involved in this. Part of the barrier or difficulty has been many companies will get approached, and maybe some of you have done this, approached at the level of a vessel and a captain. Maybe you'll get some positive feedback and signals, but by the time it gets to corporate headquarters on the other side of the world, it gets into the too hard basket. We want to get a top-down commitment as well as a vessel and platform level interest and really create that interest of companies and infrastructure in getting involved in this. Creating a menu of options so companies can really see where's the entry point, what can they start doing now? Maybe they've got data already that they can start sharing. And really working through this sort of list, having a broader level of input, and we've got ourselves, along with IOC and Goose and JCOM, really working together to start to pull this vision and operationalize it as a way to move forward for the Arctic and the rest of the world, as a way to really increase the role of industry, capture this interest in being a part of providing data, sharing data, and developing better understanding of oceans, weather, and climate. So thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for your attention, and hope to be able to discuss this further with some of you today and tomorrow. Thanks very much.